Hey guys, what's up? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives. Been trying to think of some new ideas just to, show you a little bit more variety of my collection. So this will be kind of a little trial and error. We'll see how it goes, but welcome to episode 1 of 6 with 6 Strings. It's basically where I'm going to take 6 albums, just random from my collection, show you a little more variety of what I listen to. I will talk about each album a little bit, give you some of my favorite tracks, and if you're watching, chime in and say, hey, you know what, I know that album, or okay, I'd like to check out that band, I didn't know about them. And like I said, just it gives you a little bit more background on my musical tastes, and I have a pretty big variety of what I listen to. And since doing YouTube videos, I've definitely expanded, to other genres too, and I appreciate that also. So let's get started. Like I said, these are just random. I picked them off the shelf and just I know most of them very well, but I did reacquaint myself quickly with them. So let's see what you resonate with. You know what? Some of these you won't like. That's okay. Move on to the next one, and hopefully you find something you like, and we'll go from there. So let's start off with a great album from actually the second studio album from the Rods from 1982. This is called Wild Dogs. Just love this album. This one features actually Ronnie James Dio's cousin, David Feinstein, if I'm saying that right, and one big name in metal, Carl Kennedy, on drums. And I think both guys sing. Just some key tracks that I just love on here is Wild Dogs for sure. Awesome song. They do a cover of You Keep Me Hanging On. It's pretty good, not bad. One of my other favorite tracks on here is called End of the Line. This is a reissue on Lemon Records. A lot of my CDs are basically, I had a lot of cassettes that I turned over into CDs, and lots are reissues, and I'm okay with that. There's a little bit of bonus tracks on here too. These guys got a new album. I think it might already be out. It's called The Brotherhood of Metal. So I haven't checked that out yet. Let me know if you guys have checked that out. Yeah, is it worth getting? Next up, let's go with the 14th studio album from Motorhead called Snakebite Love. This one is, in their catalog, I would say it's more of a rock and roll. It's less heavy than, for example, Sacrifice or Inferno. Like I said, it's less heavy, more of a rocker. So this is from 1998. It's been documented. This one was kind of a rush job. I think Lemmy even said 6 weeks prior to recording, they didn't even really have a whole song ready to go. But there is a few really good tracks on here that I love. Dogs of War, Assassin's really good. But there's a really cool, kind of eerie track on here that I just love. You should check it out. It's called Dead and Gone. It starts off really slow. It's a slow builder to a great chorus. I don't know, just Lemmy just sounds like Lemmy. It's pretty cool. So check out Snakebite Love from Motorhead. And next up, let's go. And I'm going to show variety of years. I'm going to throw vinyl in here. I'll throw cassettes in here. But for today, we'll just go with the 6 CDs that I picked out. Next up, we're going to go way back to 1984 for technically this band's 4th studio album. Kind of in my eyes, it was their 2nd, but you might know who I'm talking about. Well, you will right away. That's Quiet Riot. This is Condition Critical. It didn't do as well as Metal Health, but it is a good album. This is the Rock Candy reissue. There's the back cover. So this is the last to feature Rudy Sarzo on bass. He was only on the two that I have. He was on Metal Health, and this one I just love this album though. So they did another Slade cover, Mama We're All Crazy Now, you know that song. But some of my there's some deep tracks on here that I really like. And Red Alert for sure. Sign of the Times, Party All Night. Just a good album, a good solid album by Quiet Riot. And I guess for all intents and purposes, this is the classic lineup that I know, and mostly because of Metal Health, because I mean, if you're around my age, and you know, that's another thing I was thinking too. You know what? I'm turning 51 here in December. Kevin, we lost Kevin at 52 years old, way too young. But just thought I'd throw that in there. I was thinking about, you know, that's just, you know, I'm approaching that age, and you know, anyways, lost track of what I was gonna say, but definitely a great album to check out. Next up, we're gonna go with some Canadian speed metal. A lot of my friends in the UK don't know this band that well, but there are other friends on YouTube that from other parts of the country, like Australia, they know this band. That is Exciter, and this is Exciter's third studio album called Long Live the Loud. I had this on cassette back in the day. This is on Megaforce. You know, back in the record shops, they used to have these bins with just massive amounts of cassettes from Bonsai Records, Megaforce, and you know, I'd see a cool cover like this and I'd pick it out. So this was actually my introduction to Exciter. Considered one of the first speed metal bands, and definitely influenced a lot of thrash bands. This is, like I said, this is their third album from 1985, and the first song I ever heard from this album was called Born to Die. The slow building guitars, it's just awesome. Check out that song. Long Live the Loud, Wake Up Screaming, just a few key tracks that I enjoy. This is a reissue that was this was reissued or remastered by Jeff Waters from Annihilator in 2004. Great band from Ontario, Canada. Next up, we'll go with a little more Canadian content here. This one is the 17th studio album from Canada's own Rush. This one is called Vapor Trails. This is the original. Rush was never really happy with this one. Kind of a muddy production, just very, you know, loudish, and you know, the instruments just didn't separate properly, and they were never happy with this. So they did a retrospective album, which they have 2 or 3 of them, or 3 for sure, because this actually they remastered a few of the songs and put them on Rush Retrospective 3, and they remastered a couple of songs from this album. With great response, they decided to do the whole thing, and they reissued this album. This is Rush Vapor Trails remixed, and it is remixed by David Botterill. He's done some hard rock and metal for sure. Now, they took an average album and turned it into, you know, it's not at the top for me, but it's definitely one of my favorites. But you know what, I'm a huge Rush fan and I like it all anyways. But some key tracks on here that I love is Ghost Rider. My favorite track on this album is called Earthshine, and their track 7, Vapor Trail. This basically, if you're not familiar with Rush, after the Test for Echo tour, and what year was that? The 1997, the drummer Neil Peart lost his daughter in a car accident. 10 months later, he lost his wife to cancer. I believe it's cancer. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what I remember from the book. So he basically, at that time, he told Alex and Getty that he was gonna basically retired. He went on got on his motorcycle and just drove and drove and drove. Anyways, he documented this all in a book. It's called Ghost Rider Travels of the Healing Road. Fantastic book. Anyways, that's a little background on that too. And you know what? I just love Rush. So yeah, they're an acquired taste in a way, but great band. Last I'll show you today is before you ever heard Bruce Dickinson on an Iron Maiden album. And you know, I read a lot of this in his book too, and I already had these 2 albums, but I'm only going to show you one today about a band that he was in, and that was Samson. This one is called Head On. This cover actually features their mysterious drummer, Thunderstick, and great album. I really enjoy this. Couple things. Thunderstick was in Iron Maiden way back, very briefly in 1977. There's a song on here. It's an instrumental called Thunderburst, which go YouTube it, because you should recognize it right away, because it was re-recorded. And by the way, it was co-written with Steve Harris from Iron Maiden, and it turned out to be re-recorded on the Killers album. It is the instrumental lead off, the Ides of March, and yeah, right away when you put it on, you'll be like, okay, I know this song. And the other song I'd love if you checked out is called Vice Versa. Awesome. Too Close to Rock, really cool. So yeah, it's really interesting to try to think that this was Bruce Dickinson before he even joined the legendary Iron Maiden, you know, and kind of put it in the perspective of listen to it without knowing that he ever joined Maiden. And of course it's hard to do, but it's very cool to think that way. Just, you know, a fantastic singer. And from the very beginning, yeah, Bruce is on here. He's on another one called Shock Tactics, also from Samson, another great album. You know, maybe I'll show that on another episode of 6 with 6 Strings. So let me know how you feel about this. Like I said before, sometimes it's hard to come up with some ideas. And you know, I like segmented things, so maybe I can do this monthly, at least for the next couple months, and then maybe I'll do it more often when I have time. Summer's definitely, you know, hectic for everybody, so go enjoy your summer. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and until next time, stay heavy.